Artisans have partnered with us to offer authentic artwork, handicrafts, dresses, satchels, and more that remind you of home in a single place. Familiar, feito a mão, close to you. This is Artisans.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Ackley. I'm the president and CEO of the company, Artisans. And this is our team.
My name is Mariano Barrios. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and Vice President of Education.
I'm Ariel Caesar. I'm Chief Technology Officer.
My name is Manuel Horta, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer.
And good evening, my name is Rafael Porton. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Chief Financial Officer. I'm the one that gets to try on all this stuff, show this stuff off to you guys and tell you a little bit about it. So the weekend's coming up, right? It's supposed to be very nice. I want to go to the beach, maybe put a little bit of color to your wardrobe for that night or for that day. Maybe you're entertaining or having friends, family coming in from Colombia, Venezuela, Cuba, Puerto Rico. This artisan here can personalize this piece for how you're feeling that day or who you're inviting. These pieces are actually interchangeable. They can come off depending on who you're hosting that night or just how you're feeling that day. What we see here and we see on that table is we see art, we see passion, we see people who are pouring their heart and souls into the products that they love and try to share it with the rest of the world.
So when coming up with business ideas, I met an artisan in Pompano Beach, and she was Brazilian, and she was selling some very particular items. And I made a connection to them because I'm from Brazil. So I understood the story that was being told through those objects. And so I began a conversation with her. And she informed me that she was a mother of 3, and her whole income was producing and selling these products, and she also received welfare. So as we continued our conversation, she informed me that she did not sell them online because she did not have a computer. And also she only spoke Portuguese. Therefore, this was another barrier she was facing in this country. Now, all of us here come from a Latino background, so we were able to make a connection with people, relatives, friends we know, who all have great skills in diverse areas, but due to some of these issues, they're not able to grow in this country. So we're here to try to help these people.
So what is it that we're going to do? Well, we're going to open up a website and name it artisans.com. And what it's going to be an online marketplace for these people to come in and sell all their handmade goods and art. Our aim is to preserve the intangible cultural heritage in our beautiful city. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to not only sell to the general public, such as yourselves, we're also going to target businesses, large businesses such as cruise lines and wedding planners, so that these artisans can sell their items in bulk and grow their brand. And we're also going to help each one-on-one by offering in-person workshops where they can become better entrepreneurs themselves. So at Artisans, our vision is to connect the art of the world to the local market and beyond. Our mission is to bring the culture from all around the globe closer to home. By creating a community-centered environment, we will use the power of art to bring the rest of the world to you. Through our values, we are committed to helping better our world with our markets, our customers, and with our artisans. So who is it that we're trying to help? Well, our actions are going to help those people who come from other countries and have a certain set of skills that they just can't market in today's business place. We're going to give them a place to sell online and make a living for themselves. We're also looking to impact those people who can connect with an item and art, whether it be because of their ethnicity, they're tourists, or because they just appreciate handmade items. William Foote on Forbes magazine once said that people nowadays care more about where an item came from and its story than what the product itself is.
Good evening. Now that my colleague Mariano has spoken a bit on our beneficiaries, I want to talk to you a bit about our consumers and where we're getting our money from. To begin with, we're going to only work out of Miami-Dade County and Broward County. In between those two places, there makes up about a little over 100 zip codes, and in between those places, we have a little over 1.5 million households. Now, these households spend $24 and $61 per year, respectively, on women's and men's accessories and arts and crafts, which total up to about a cash flow of $140 million, and we aim to take about 1% for our cash stream, our revenue stream. Now, if the title weren't put aptly enough, many small businesses have little to no online presence. Tess Townsend says that about 60% of small businesses that are made up of 1 to 5 people, very much like our artisans, they don't have any online presence. They don't sell online. And of that 60%, 12%, only 12, have a Facebook page. I mean, I think that's a little shocking. Even my grandmother has a Facebook page. Now, Blake Irving, he's the CEO of GoDaddy Incorporated. He said that while we take for granted that everyone is online, the reality is that for many small businesses, it's simply not true. In addition to that, another survey says that 83% of businesses that have a website online say that they have a competitive advantage over businesses that do not. And that's what we want to give our artisans. We want to give them a distinct competitive advantage.
Okay, so when we selected this business, our main question was, where will we find these artisans? Can they produce the amount of products we would need? So we decided to do a search in the zip code 33176 to have an idea of the size of the market. And we were surprised that in 2016, there were over 49 fairs selling handcraft items, spread in all these different locations. And they were diverse fairs with different topics, and there were thousands of artisans participating in these fairs.
All right, so let me talk to you about our market test. So what we did, we visited some different fairs where different artisans are present, and what we did, we talked to them as we went to these fairs like Bayfront Park, and once we did that, we found out exactly how many of them actually sell online, how many of them would benefit from selling online, as well as how many of them have had difficulty starting their business. Some of the responses we got from them, for example, the one that really stood out to me was Carrie from Costa Rica saying, I sell a few products online through Facebook. If someone were to create a website, I would definitely be on board, which really is the whole basis of why we decided to go with this business. All right, so let me also talk to you about our volume buyers. What we're gonna do, we're gonna contact the purchasing departments for different cruise liners and wedding planners. We're gonna sign the specific contracts that we need to do in order to start the process. Once we do that, we're gonna arrange a meeting with them and pitch the products that we're gonna be selling through them. And then we're gonna have sign the agreements to get started with them. Okay, so aside from the traditional Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook, we're also gonna use our business cards to market ourselves. So these are the ones that the artisans would be passing out in their fairs or anywhere for that matter. And it's gonna have our website name as well as our email. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna help attract traffic to us. Now you probably could see from the business cards, there's a blank space on them. What those blank spaces for, so the actual artisan could put their brand on the card. Okay, so we also visited some fairs. We saw a bunch of tents. Really, there was no brand, no signage, really nothing that really stood out and said, you know. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna add their brand to the tent, as well as we're gonna add our website name on their tents. That way they could better brand themselves, and then when they give out their business cards, they could see what exactly they're all about. Also, if you look now, we have one tent obviously with a branding, and the others don't really have anything. Which one do you rather go to now?
All right, so as I mentioned in the beginning, one of the things that's going to set us apart is the in-person workshops that we're offering these artisans. So when Manny goes out to all these festivals and recruits them, first thing we're going to do is we're going to give them an introductory class. We're going to teach them basic computer skills because the sad truth is that in this day and age, a lot of adults still don't know how to use a computer. So once we get them up and running, we're going to help them create their marketplace. And after they're on their feet, we're going to introduce them to very introductory level courses. For example, an introduction to business management, which we're going to teach them what it is that makes a business successful. An introduction to finance, we're going to show them how money moves and how to make the most out of their investment. And as well as an introduction to marketing so that they may improve their artistic brand. After a 90-day commitment period, we're going to offer advanced level courses. As you see up here, this is the framework for our curriculum. And our aim is to invest ourselves fully into our artisans to create a sense of loyalty and as well as to help them expand their artistic brand to the most of their potential. Aside from the workshops, we're going to offer them monthly reviews. Now, what these reviews are going to incorporate, it's going to tell them what items are trending and not trending in the market. Why? So that they can tailor their online store to make the most amount of money they possibly can.
So what separates us from our competitors? Well, the first thing is the uniform, personalized way of packaging. Only Amazon offers something similar. And like Mariano was explaining, another thing that separates us are the workshops. Only we will be offering these workshops, which are hands-on workshops. Where really, the artisan will have the first time to learn a lot of using the computer and marketing and how to sell online. Another thing that separates us is that the workshop classes, they will be all in Spanish, but in English and Portuguese. So there are 3 different languages that we will be reaching to these artisans. And another thing that differentiates us is the participation in local festivals. Now, only in Miami-Dade alone, there's over 22 festivals celebrating the national independence days of the Latin American countries. So we plan on participating in as many as we can in marketing our brand and marketing the products of our customers. Now, these are very well-known companies, billion-dollar companies, so you probably all recognize their names. They're big competitors, but there's a problem for the artisans right now. When they are trying to sell in these websites, they are facing huge competition because there are thousands of sellers globally selling items very similar to theirs. So it's very difficult for them to separate themselves from those other sellers who may be charging less than they are or have a product that is very similar to theirs.
All right, so this brings us to our day-to-day operations. So as you see up here, this is our operational map, which is split into 2 different categories. On the left-hand side is our individual online sales, which is our online market, and on the right-hand side are our volume buyers, which are the big businesses such as cruise lines and wedding planners. So first thing we got to do is we got to go out and identify these artisans, as Manny mentioned before, at the festivals. Once we know who they are and who we're going to be working with, they're going to go ahead and create their online marketplace. This is going to be their place to sell all their items, and now that the marketplace is running, they're going to go ahead and list them. Items that they've already made, that they know that they sell, and that they know are trending are going to be put in now. So now we're ready to receive an online order. Once that online order comes in, one of 2 things can happen. We can either ship it to the buyer if the item's in stock, or we also offer personalized items such as that sculpture you see in front of you now. This will give time for the artisan to create that product. Once it's ready to go, we're going to ship it off to the buyer, and we're going to encourage customer feedback. The reason being is we want to do the best we can for our customers. Now let's talk about the volume buyers. Again, everything starts with our artisans. So once we have them, we're going to go ahead and we're going to become authorized vendor by signing all the necessary forms required. Once that's done, we're going to make the items they request, whether it be hats, arts, jewelry, or whatever it may be. I'm going to say I blanked out. Yeah. Now would be the time where they make it. So now we're ready to receive an online order. Once that online order comes in, we're going to first we're going to inventory them in our 20 by 20 storage space. We're going to keep track of it using a SKU inventory system. The reason being, when an item comes in, we know exactly where it is and exactly where to find it. That way, when the online order comes in, we know where to get it and where to ship it, because the truth is that cruise lines are only in port for several hours. So it's a very small window that we have to meet in order to get the items to them on time. Once the item is shipped to them, again, we're going to encourage customer feedback to improve our operation. So what opportunities do we find with this type of business? Well, it's appealing to both buyers and sellers alike. These items here is not something that you could buy at any retail store. Also, for sellers, it's a place for them to sell their items. It's a place for them to make a living. A lot of these people don't have jobs at the moment, so it gives them a place to make the money they need to support their families. We see that there are a few barriers of entry, and as Mark mentioned, there is competition, but it's relatively low. And also, since this is an online marketplace, it does offer, we do project a low amount of overhead.
If I could steal a moment of your time, I'd just like to mention that we're going to be based in Florida. We're choosing an LLC as our structure. We want to do that because we want to enjoy the limited liability that corporations get without paying the double taxation. We're going to hire a lawyer to draft our articles of agreement so we can get full control of our internal structure, which I realize was one of the hardest things for an LLC to do. And this way we won't have any limits on our subsidiaries or our shareholders. Thank you.
So now you've heard all the wonderful things that we're going to accomplish here at Artisans. Let's get down to the real reason why you want to see the finances. So what we're going to do is, with Artisans, like we mentioned, is low overhead. So really what we're targeting is computers for us to be able to update our website daily, weekly, monthly, depending on the needs. Laptops for when we do our workshops, we would normally be doing them at the artisans' homes in a personal one-to-one, or even in group settings. The other more important item that we need is a great camera to be able to take those high-quality pictures so when people see them on our website, it just calls out to them. The other thing is we need to be fully prepared for all of our festivals. So we definitely will need tents, signage, chairs, and tables to be able to stand out amongst the rest of the competition that's at these fairs. So when we're looking at revenue, the cruise lines is definitely going to be our largest revenue stream. Reason being is the majority of the artisans that we've spoken to said that if they can start selling more volume and sell more in bulk, they would definitely be able to give us these items at a much more wholesale price, which gives us more room for profit. The other one is the festivals. Like Mark had mentioned, there's 49 fairs and 22 festivals going on every single year in Miami-Dade County alone. We haven't even reached Broward County. So having the capabilities of attending all of these fairs and being able to personalize all of our items, depending on the culture event that we're at, or if it's a general event, will definitely give us advantage over the competition and give us a lot more revenue. The other one I want to talk to you about is our online store charge. Our online store charge is kind of taking the headache off the artisans. It's a $20 subscription fee every single month that covers all of their shipping, customer service fees, and anything else, and also help with the payment and the signage for personalizing for all of these festivals. So when we're looking at our projected profit and loss, Mariana had mentioned that we'd be occupying a 20 by 20 storage space. We would be looking at public storage. It normally is about $300 a month. The benefit is first month's only $1, so we get to save a little bit the first month. The other thing mentioned is our lawyer's fees. I did speak to a couple of attorneys. He mentioned to me for $2,500 and an additional $200 surcharge, he would put together all of our operational agreements, all the necessary bylaws, and put together all the necessary forms for us to form an LLC. Our first year, we are going to show a loss. It's about 14% because we're only working about 10 months out of the year. We're starting up in March. That is actually in very comparison to Etsy and Amazon. Etsy and Amazon actually for the last 3 years have been showing a loss anywhere from 3 to 5%. A lot of it is due to expansion, but they are definitely showing a loss. The great news is coming in 2018, we are still showing a loss, but it's a little bit less. So we're doing a lot better with profits of 2, 5, and 9% in years 19, 20, and 21. When we're looking at our projected balance sheet, again, it is in line with what we're projecting for our profits and loss. Again, we are showing about a $20,000 loss in year 1, a little bit less in year 2 with about $13,709. But the great news is from then on out, it's all profit. So when we talk about break-even revenue, we thought about using break-even units, we thought about break-even everything. And the reality is this was our best route to go, and thanks to also the advice from our professor. Cruise lines, we really have no overhead. We are not purchasing these items up front. We are placing the order, receiving a wholesale price, and selling it for an upcharge, and still at more of a discount that they would find it in these festivals and stores. So there's the greatest opportunity for profit. The reason why the cruise line one is because cruise lines, it's either a ship is 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days. So we're going to have constant time to pick up and delivery, especially like how they had mentioned that they only have 8 hours. So we have an excess in gas consumption and time, which is the biggest commodity we have, and to try to resolve it. So with cruise lines, it's about $4,500. Festivals, it's a little bit less. It's less because it's standstill. They're not happening every single weekend, so we're not wasting that, we're not spending that money on gas, but we do have included in our expenses all of the average cost for most of the festivals and fairs here. The other one I want to talk about is online store charge again. $500 is what puts us pretty much at our break even. The benefit behind that, that's only about 25 people, artisans, which we plan to be on by year 2. And anything above that, we're going to use that money to reinvest into our business, into our artisans, and then maybe even give some back.
So throughout the semester, we spoke to several artisans and tried to get their feedback on how this business works, and they told us what would be better to improve, what they felt was missing. So out of all of the artisans we spoke to, this was one of the artisans who most stood out to us, as she was very honest about the questions we gave her.
Absolutely. I definitely want to expand this from being just a side business right now to being my full-time career. I'd like to open up a store. I'm probably not, franchise it. I believe in local small businesses, and I'd like to keep it that way. Mostly Etsy and Instagram. And if I'm being honest, it really hasn't been that successful. There's such a saturation in the market for handcrafted jewelry, handcrafted what have you, that it's kind of hard to break out from the pack and really see a profit. If you want to make a profit, you have to spend money on some little marketing gigs, and they send you ads for like, hey, I don't know, how much pay to be in the top page. I don't have the extra money to do marketing. I do my own marketing. Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Or I'd have to quit my full-time job to solely market my business. I subsidize myself, small business with my full-time business until I can make enough profit. But to make enough profit, you need more customers, so it's kind of like a vicious cycle. Absolutely, because it'd be selling to my local community, probably people I already know. So that, besides the website, it also gives you word of mouth. Once we all know each other, get to know each other, it opens up a bigger market. Bigger market means more customers, more revenue, and you'll go right back into the business. So I would love that. Absolutely, and when you have more local, it's less saturation of the same thing. So it would benefit me like tenfold.
All right, well, that's our business. So do you guys have any questions?
I really feel convinced that there is a need out there. I really feel, just going around, and I've seen you guys do some research to sort of figure it out. So just me going around, seeing all the artisans and seeing and certainly knowing that they really don't have the capability or even the knowledge to market it. And I think I've given it a lot of thought in terms of organizing the workshop side of it to teach them how to do it, and also from the marketing side of it too as well. So congratulations on that. I was trying to figure out some of the revenue streams. And I was trying to figure out, so you have a subscription. You're saying something, I think you said the subscription covers shipping?
Yes,
And some of the
USPS
stuff-
with their the way we came up with that number is USPS with the single box shipping that they have, the one, as long as it fits in a box, you can ship at the same price. They actually have a subscription fee, it's $5.99, and they can actually deliver next day as long as it's there by 5 p.m.
Because I'd imagine some of the stuff would need a little extra packing.
Well, yes, and it's one size shipping. You can choose up to, I think the box size was 10 by 12 inches.
Okay.
So as long as you can fit it in that box, 10 by 12, it will ship for the same price. It's an offer that they're doing to compete with UPS and FedEx to give local businesses that opportunity.
So it's shipping anywhere in the US, so to speak?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The workshops, or let me probably talk about the inventory, because you talked about a space and probably holding inventory. This would not be at your cost except for the space.
Correct.
Right, so the space is your cost,
Correct.
but the cost of the item actually goes back to the artisan.
So based on the workshops that you mentioned, when it's monthly, we're going to be doing what's trending, not only with what's going on online, but what's selling in the festivals and what's selling with the cruise lines also. So what we would keep in inventory based upon the orders would be something like the necklaces, where if we are, the way we've planned it out is once we would be charging these cruise lines 50% deposit upon delivery, net 15 days after that, we would take that deposit and that's what we would use to pay the artisans. Now, if there are some pieces that have not been selling, we will definitely put them back on the website, or we will take them to festivals to be able to keep the sales cycle going. We don't want to keep anything in our warehouse for anything longer than a week to 2 weeks.
Are you taking a commission from the artist too as well on the sales, or just help me understand the
Okay, so for example, the statue that you see in front of you, I'll give you that as an example. That statue right there is $25. When I asked the gentleman if you were selling, I asked him how many are you selling on a regular basis. He says 1 to 2 every 2 weeks. I said, well, if you had the opportunity to sell those if you had the opportunity to sell 3 to 5 per week, would you lower the price? Definitely. He says it cost me $11 to make that. He goes, I can sell it to you for what it costs me, and you can sell it for whatever price you want, or maybe even a little bit of a markup. Because now, instead of him seeing 1 or 2 every 1 to 2 weeks, he's starting to see a consistent sales. So the majority of them were very open to lowering their prices if they can see more consistent sales. So that's where our revenue comes from.
Right, and the last thing I would throw out is the marketing. I wasn't sure if I saw marketing cost inside of it, because you realize you're building an e-commerce platform, you're
Yes.
doing some significant marketing that you'd have to do to support the artisans too as well. I wasn't sure if I saw the
Well,
cost, I probably just missed it.
The good thing is that since our main marketing is going to come from social media, which is free. And our second biggest is going to be, or our biggest actually would be word of mouth. What we are going to pay for is the signage that we're going to be using at festivals, which is up here, and also the business cards.
And speaking of the business cards, one of the interesting things that we saw when we were going to these fairs was when we asked them if they had business cards, the majority of them did not have business cards. So we saw this as an opportunity to not only market the website, where people that are that want the item that they might not have anymore because they already sold, they can go on the website and through that card they can find the seller's name, and it will be easier for them to just buy it online.
Yes.
Just in response to that, I mean, a lot of social media is free, absolutely. But remember that the more targeted you get, is the more there is a cost to it. So, you know, if you're buying Facebook ads or you're doing any particular thing, then there comes a small cost. But I won't take up all the time.
Just to clarify, we are doing as much free marketing as we can, and whatever costs, say, man hours, we're not touching targeted ads, but man hours are already calculated into our salaries.
Awesome.
And also the tents.
Yeah.
Your names on the tents.
Well, the signage is right there, and to answer your question with the website, with Wix.com, we're going to start with somebody else hosting our website. The premium package is $25 a month, okay? And just to touch upon, we are going to be also using the power of hashtags. While you do say that targeted marketing is going to get costly, Miami itself, with hashtags itself, will attract a lot more people to your website, to your Facebook page, to your Instagram, just by clicking on a little hashtag.
I mean, localizing it, the diversity that's in Miami already makes it exotic in terms of the quality of what you have. So I think you're on to something.
Thank you.
I have a couple, I know you're short, so I'm gonna go really fast. I think there's definitely a need. My mother-in-law is a local artisan, she made my bracelet. And she's in her 70s, and obviously she needs help. And she goes to her grandchildren for help, you know, so there is definitely a need. My question is, how do you qualify to be an artisan? Because you can't get everybody, because everybody's stuff is not gonna sell.
Well, we're looking at people who are living either in poverty or above a certain age where they can't work anymore because they were forced to retire, they had a workplace injury, any sort of things that just, it doesn't allow, they can't go out to not the real world, but out to the business place and make a living for themselves. So we're looking to target those people that need that helping hand.
And also within the artisan community themselves, again, word of mouth is the most powerful advertising tool we have here. I alone come from a family of 227. My grandmother's 100, she's got 28 great-grandchildren.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what she married into. So word of mouth marketing is just being able to hear the opportunities that we've been able to present to them is what will be able to give us to be able to reach out to more people who do have this quality, these skills, and have the passion to do this.
And
One second. Okay,
Yes, okay, good.
So I just wanted to go back to the cruise line situation.
Okay.
Right, so you're targeting cruise lines for them to retail your products within
On the ship, yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, are you gonna be selective with where the cruise line is going? Because if they're going to Nassau, they're going to another island, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, I'd rather get it locally right there at Nassau in the market when I get there, right?
Well, correct. And the thing with the stores on side the cruise lines, if you've noticed, they normally open the shops after you've left the country where you've been. So if you've maybe missed the opportunity, for example, Coral Gables right now has a huge influx of Bahamian population. So to be able to sell them the products depending on their schedule is definitely a route that we're going to go.
Right, because there are cruise lines that would, like Viking, that's going someplace completely different, that's colder, right?
Yeah.
It's not the case,
Right.
so, last question, the wedding planner
Mhm.
situation.
Yes.
Could you explain to me why you would consider them a target market for wholesale,
There are over 261 weddings a year in Miami alone,
right?
okay? They spend on average, just on favors, because you have a lot of cross-cultural marriages happening here in Miami, or people who are having destination weddings here. They're spending anywhere from $164 to $200 per wedding just on favors. Like you would see over there, there's a little bride and groom sitting on the table. I've worked for a catering company. I've seen the weddings that go on here. To be able to attract that market, to be able to give people the opportunity to see, to take home a gift from somewhere where they've been, or from, I can give you my personal experience. My wife is Italian Sicilian. I am Cuban. So when we went up there, the person who makes the little cookies there, something that falls with the Italian culture, was a huge sell, huge hit. Everybody wants to know where they can get them and where they could find them. So we find that the weddings will be a huge market for us to penetrate here because of the amount of people that want to get married.
So you're gonna target artists who create those miniature items to
Well,
sell?
just to give you an example, if you don't mind. So, like I said, this all comes apart. So they can do something like this, a little conga with cube on it. Or they can do a little purse with Miami on it. Stuff that can be personalized so that way they can be able to sell it, not sell it, but give it to their guests at the wedding.
So the website.
Here's your example.
Listen, I already have it sold. You break it, you bought it. That wasn't supposed to come apart.
Oh, man, you poor man.
Okay, that fits there.
Yeah. No, it does come apart. That was supposed to.
It has different body.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can
Arms, the arms, the torso, the bottom, and the log and the head actually come apart. Yes, everything comes apart.
Oh, man, I totally forgot my question when you.
Thank you.
Time's up, by the way.
Okay,
Okay, one last.
so you're gonna be, and I guess this would be your niche, because Etsy is not promoting their vendors, their retailers,
No,
right?
Etsy-
So you're going to be providing a niche by promoting wedding
Correct.
trinkets on the site, in addition to, grassroots reaching out to these.
Correct.
Okay, and you're also going to be promoting, so you're gonna have a tent at the festival
Mhm.
with different products from multiple, clients.
Tailor-made to those festivals. So if
Right.
it was a Cuban festival, we would take this one for sure. And if it was a Brazilian, we would just ask the artisan to do something from Brazil and colors from that country.
So and you had a list of things that made the differentiators, right?
Correct.
So what's actually different from you regarding Etsy, because I feel like Etsy is your real competitor in this particular scenario, because when I think Etsy, I think eclectic, I think artistic. I don't think that way when I think of Amazon, right?
Okay.
I think of Walmart online. And so the difference, your niche, is that you are taking ownership of promoting, marketing, and selling the product, which is the difference from
Mhm.
Etsy. And so when you present in the future,
Yep.
you need to make that one of the very first thing, or one of the very first pitches, like the front side of your pitch.
Okay.
So when you start to tell me about what Etsy is, let me know that this is my niche.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take on your product and I'm gonna take it into the market here in South Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's actually very true. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I know
And-
I'm overtime.
Any other questions?
I don't think
Well,
we have the time.
and can I just touch upon one thing that you mentioned? You mentioned about Etsy. The last time you went on Etsy and you searched bracelets, how many items came up?
I
3,000?
don't remember, the last time I was on Etsy was for a friend's something, like, it was, my friend was
Wedding?
doing a party. It wasn't a wedding, it was a party. and she wanted, you know, different artistic things, and so that's the last time, but I'm at the Walmart girl. I'm not Amazon.
Well, and that's what I just want to touch upon. If you were to enter bracelet, you would probably get about 5,000 results. And of those 5,000, you'll probably see the same item multiple times on multiple pages. So how do we separate ourselves from Etsy is that it's taking away that oversaturation of products that's going on. Is, as you can see from all the items that we have brought here, no two items are really the same. So being able to give that personalized touch and feel is something that would definitely separate us from Etsy.
Right, but if I am looking for someone to help me sell my product, it's gonna matter more to me that you are going to cruise lines, going to wedding planners, going to festivals to help sell my product. Because if I'm in the LMI community, if I'm in the low to middle income community, and you're helping me sell my product, that matters way more to me than, you know, Etsy having this huge database of products. Right, so I'd be more willing to go to you for that reason alone.
Yeah, perfect. No, I thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That's very true. Any other questions?